We've not yet addressed his behavior, which is really what I'm focusing on.
I think that's where we are now, the behavior issue.
His behavior toward me when he demanded that I speak to the issue and I refused. And then he demanded again. And just for the record, because Mr. Zbikowski's recollection, I believe, is off. And we do, as a matter of business, record those meetings until the minutes are voted to be released. Then we know that everything is finalized. There still is an audio tape of that night's meeting, and I'd be thrilled more than anything to have Selectman Zbikowski's recollection refreshed by allowing him to listen to that. It wasn't me continuing to badger. Would that not
only be necessary if those present at that meeting and present here tonight in any way countered the litany of charges that you've raised?
That's fair. That's fair. It's just I've already heard.
Outside of the fact that Mr. Gould has indicated he's not going to comment on them, I haven't heard from my fellow selectmen as to how they feel about this list that we all have received prior to the meeting and had a chance to read each charge and each quote.
Right.
So why don't I start with Ms. Hunt?
Before you leave that point, Mr. Chairman, if I may?
Sure, absolutely.
I think we've heard Selectman Zbikowski characterize the meeting as the chairman calling the executive session, me saying it's improper, and then I should have just shut up. I should have been quiet. And that leaves the impression that I did something inappropriate. If I had just shut up, he wouldn't have behaved badly. And I don't think that's accurate at all, because I have an obligation to inform. And when it's followed up with a demand that I break the law, and then I'm insubordinate if I don't break the law, I think that falls short. His description falls short. And then we hear Selectman Bond say, I've seen this out of this guy before. He baits members of the board. That's not the case.
My sense of what Mr. Zbikowski said was that as an employee of the town, you have, and you have indicated this to me, you have a responsibility to point out when you think any member of the board or the board collectively is going down the wrong path.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you did that. Mr. Zbikowski's comment was that that was sufficient to meet the law. You were protected, and you had provided the advice as you understood the law, and it was in the minutes, recorded for posterity, and also in the written form. So Mr. Zbikowski's testimony or question or comment, it seems to me, simply was, had you decided to let it go at that, instead of continuing an argument with the chairman, perhaps the brouhaha that eventually came about would not have. And then Selectman Bond joined in that and said he thought you were baiting the chair.
Right. Now,
that's debatable. And you would debate it, I would debate it, we could all debate it. Only you would know whether silence after having properly advised the chair that he was going down the wrong path might have been a better way to go. It does not in any way excuse any insults, attacks, or derogatory comments that might have been made as a result of the heat of the moment. I understand that.
And just to put a bow on it, I did stop when I made the notification that it was illegal. It was the chairman that badgered me and said, you will answer. I said, I'm not going to answer. We go in public session, I'll answer. We go in the hallway, I'll answer. I'm not going to do it here. I'm not going to break. You will. He raised his voice. You were there. You know what occurred. I didn't bait. I didn't continue. I responded to what he was dishing. And I think you listen to the tape, you'll hear I maintained my calm the whole time.
Okay, rather than get into it, to he said, he heard, there are 5 of us here who were present in the room. Does anyone care to share their observations or opinions of what happened there?
Well, it's my turn. They already have. It's funny how you see things different, huh? When you sit down, we're in the same room, we hear the same story, and we all come up with a different thought. Personally, I think Mr. Gould was totally rude. He was insulting, and if we wanted to go back to 1950, I probably would have leaped over a table and knocked the hell out of him. It was amazing. I am shocked on how we behave in that meeting. We'll only talk about this meeting. Unfortunately, we can only talk about this meeting. I'm shocked. I will tell you, there's a few times I probably didn't sleep for days because I was amazed how rude we are. I'm frustrated because the conduct is not acceptable at this time. This is year 2010. We're going back to the 1950s. Who yells? Who's the bully? Who runs their mouth? I can throw stuff out too. And I can make comments, oh, I called you, whatever, how many times on the phone you never answered. A bunch of crap. You know, it's so sad that I've watched and sat back over the years, but we'll talk just about this type of behavior, and we, the town, allows this to happen. It just blows my mind. It's an insult. Insult to the board, insult to the community, insult to Winchendon. It's an insult after reading it in the paper. The whole package is an insult. And we just tolerate it and try to defend it. The bottom line is, it's not acceptable. Any outburst like that in the real world, manufacturing world, you go to anger management. Or you're fired. An outburst like that in any of your... Picture having your students sitting there and watching that saying, this is how I'm going to teach you to be political. It's an insult. It's embarrassing. And I can just tell you, it's terrible. I don't sleep for days sometimes because it bothers me that we have to live like this. We don't have to live like this. We can change it. And it's sad. And I hope you do change it. And my recommendation, Mr. Gould gets removed from that seat as chairman. Because that is sad that we have a leader like this. And if he is being badgered over the last 35 years or the last 10 years Kreidler was here, I would only hope the gentleman would know that this guy likes to twist it and shove it up his butt, then learn to work around it. Don't sit there and let it eat you.
Let's keep it to this issue. And
I'm sorry. You got to do something.
I understand what you're saying, and I thank you for your comments.